Has the war in Iran entered a new, more dangerous phase? Now, so far, much of the attention has been centered on the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Yemen's Houthi rebels, who are backed by Iran, say they'll obstruct another major shipping route in the region. Now, to discuss why and the implications of this threat, I'll be speaking with Nadwa al-Dawsari, Yemen analyst at the Middle East Institute, and Baraa Shiban, international security analyst with the Royal United Services Institute, RUSI. Welcome to you both. Now, before we get into the conversation, let's take a quick look at the map. As mentioned, the Strait of Hormuz off the Iranian coast has been the major focus in the US-Israel war against Iran for some months now. But to the southwest, off Yemen's western coast, is the al-Mandeb Strait, another shipping choke point. It's around 26 kilometers or 16 miles at its narrowest point. And that's where the Houthis want to impose a blockade, which they say is targeting Saudi Arabia. Let's listen to the rebel spokesman.
The Yemeni armed forces announce a maritime embargo against the criminal Saudi enemy based on the equation of a blockade for a blockade, and it will enter into force effective immediately upon the issuance of this statement. We affirm the right of our great people to confront blockade with blockade and full-scale escalation with full-scale escalation, and to establish this equation.
All right, let's bring in our experts. Starting with you, Baraa. Now, the Houthis so far have been relatively quiet during this war. Can you sum this up for us and tell us why they're now getting involved?
I think the Houthis were basically waiting until they are needed. The IRGC and the Iranian regime is more or less anticipating a Trump more aggressive campaign by the Trump administration. So a deterrence is needed right now. The question was always not if the Houthis are going to get involved, but rather when are they going to get involved, and when does the Iranians need them? And it looks like they need them right now the most. For the Houthis, in order to make an impact, to make it loud, they need to address this towards Saudi Arabia, one of the US closest allies in the region, and make a direct threat on the shipping lanes, on the oil production, and hopefully that could cause panic at the oil market. And we're all waiting to see what's going to happen tomorrow and the days to come to the oil prices.
Nadwa, I just want to get your thoughts as well as to the involvement of Saudi Arabia in this. I mean, there's so many neighboring countries around, but they single out this one nation.
Well, I think this is not just about like Houthi-Saudi confrontation. It's like Baraa mentioned, it's one piece of Iran's broader regional strategy. So in the short term, what the Houthis and Iran or what Tehran wants is to work with the Houthis to create indirect leverage on the United States by raising the cost for a key US ally. And Saudi Arabia is the largest US ally in the region. In my opinion, Yemen offers safe haven for the IRGC, where they can continue to do work with relative ease compared to like Iran. Over the past years, the Houthis, with the help of Iran, have expanded the reach across the Horn of Africa. They developed sophisticated smuggling networks. They've established relationships with militant groups like Al-Shabaab in Somalia, ISIS in Somalia, Somali pirates. From Iran's perspective, that creates strategic infrastructure that can be leveraged over time. If Iran indeed succeeds in consolidating its position in Yemen, it won't simply be about projecting power. It will be about building long-term strategic leverage over the US and its allies. So Yemen is not exactly a destination. Yemen is the platform. And I think that's what we need to focus about, not just that the Houthis are creating a blockade. The blockade serves different reasons. But in my opinion, this long-term reason or objective is what's absent from reporting and analysis.
Interesting. Just picking up on that and probably going back a bit to what you talked about, Baraa, earlier, that whether this is, or rather, how much of this is the Houthis acting in their own capacity versus being directed by Tehran?
From now on, I think it will be quite cynical to think about the Houthis just as a separate a group away from the IRGC. Now the IRGC wants to leverage that relationship that it has built, the networks, the smuggling networks that Nadwa was mentioning. Before the IRGC relied so much on Hezbollah operatives, Hezbollah fighters coming in and outside of Yemen. But now it is time for the IRGC to start using that leverage and start operating inside Yemen. Also, it has the advantage Yemen has a very difficult terrain. If the United States would think of attacking the Houthis, it would think multiple times, not just twice, before sending troops on the ground due to the difficulties that they would face inside Yemen. So there's multiple advantage points that the IRGC can leverage using the Houthis. And now that long established relationship, the benefit that the Houthis have gained from their relationship with the IRGC regarding their ability to proliferate drones, use ballistic missiles, start attacking ships. That was all enriched and supported with the help of the IRGC. And now it's time for the IRGC to start, gaining the reap of that seeds of investment that they have laid for quite many years. And it's difficult before the IRGC would have relied heavily on Hezbollah. Hezbollah right now are not at an advantage point that they can use, that the IRGC can use due to the multiple hits that they have received from Israel. But the Houthis, on the other hand, are at a force that are enjoying relative freedom of mobility. They can attack, they can threaten, and the only way that you can get and gain the U.S. attention is if you start threatening Saudi Arabia.
Nadwa, we saw, just picking up on that, we saw, I think it was last year and the year before, the US carrying out strikes in Yemen. How much impact do you think that had on the Houthis and their ability to carry out this blockade that they're threatening?
So tactically, U.S. airstrikes might have disrupted the Houthis' command and control. It killed some operatives, but it didn't largely degrade their capabilities because just a few weeks after the U.S. ended the campaign, the Houthis sank 2 ships in the Red Sea. They clearly still maintain capabilities that can threaten international shipping and regional security. But long-term, the Houthis have used the U.S. Military strikes to reinforce their narrative that they are fighting a war on behalf of Muslims, Arabs, Yemenis against U.S. imperialism. So they instrumentalized these airstrikes to promote their propaganda, which they use to recruit and gain credibility across the region. So the short answer is, I don't think that U.S. airstrikes it might have disrupted the Houthis for a little while, but it hasn't really changed much in terms of their capabilities.
Right. Now, the UN has expressed its concern over this latest development. Let's take a listen to what the spokesman for UN Chief Antonio Guterres had to say.
We've seen the reports and are very much concerned by the renewed Houthi threats against Saudi Arabia, against freedom of navigation, which leads to the risk of an even wider regional escalation. We call for immediate de-escalation. We urge all parties to address their differences through dialogue and diplomacy, and reiterate that Security Council Resolution 2722 and subsequent resolutions related to Houthi attacks against merchant and commercial vessels must be fully respected.
I just come back to you, Nadwa. How do you think the Saudis will handle this?
Now, that's a very big question. We don't know how the Saudis will handle this. The Saudis have showed a lot of patience with the Houthis over the years. Between 2017 and 22, the Houthis launched 1,000 ballistic missiles and over 350 drones at Saudi infrastructure, including their main oil facility in Aqiq. And the Saudis in 2021 started direct negotiations with the Houthis, which led to the truce in 2022. So the Saudis have been trying to sort of bring this war to the end, talk to the Houthis, convince them to come to an agreement with the Yemeni government. But at the end of the day, it's the Saudis who don't want to solve this conflict. They keep escalating at every opportunity. I think at some point, the Saudis will have to deal with this threat. And I don't know if that's going to happen now or a year from now or 5 years from now. But this is a threat that cannot be, as proven time and again, cannot be dealt with only through negotiations.
Right. Baraa, I'll bring you back in. A while back, we saw what the Houthis did to shipping in relation to the Gaza war. I'm just wondering what you think their blockade would look like right now if they were to go ahead with the threat.
So with the Houthis, they always try to continue developing their capabilities in terms of how their precision strikes, their ability to hit targets more effectively. We saw this throughout the years with their attacks on Saudi Arabia. It started with lone missiles fired here and there, but as time was moving, their ability to hit deep into Saudi Arabia and start really targeting key infrastructure sites significantly improved. So with the shipping attack, they constantly try to build on the capacity, the ability to improve their drones, their missiles, their kamikaze boats that attack ships. And if you're someone like me, who you're talking to maritime experts all the time, anyone will tell you there is no force that can patrol the whole sea. Yes, it's a sea problem, but at the core of the Houthi attacks, it's a land problem, and without addressing that, you will not be able to patrol the sea forever. And the coastline is still a huge portion of the western coast of Yemen is controlled by the Houthis, and without addressing that, the Red Sea is always going to be under threat.
Right. And Nadwa, I'm just wondering as well, do you see a scenario where this war is then fought on two fronts, on the Strait of Hormuz as well as the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait? Do you see this kind of escalation as the future?
I mean, I think if pressure continues on Iran, the Bab-el-Mandeb card will have to be played. And I think that what we see today, the Houthis, first, they're escalating rhetoric against Saudi Arabia, and now announcing a blockade, a naval blockade against Saudi Arabia is part of this gradual escalation. And I think in time, if this pattern continues, we will see a war. We will see the Bab-el-Mandeb front also used to, in the larger fight between Iran and the U.S.
Okay, Yemen analyst Nadwa Al-Dawsari and Baraa Shiban, I'd like to thank you very much for your time and for the insights.
Thank you.
And what do you think? Will this Houthi move complicate a peace deal in the Iran war? And how will other regional players respond to a new naval blockade? Let us know in the comments. I'm Tomi Oladipo. See you next time.